In this video, we are going to learn about security audits, why these audits are important, and how our audits perform. This part of the course is going to be a management side one, wherein how actually audits get performed, what actually a big organization does about its security concerns will be discussed. So let us begin with defining security audits. A security audit just checks whether the organization is following a set of standard security policies and procedures. Now it's a definition in simple language, but we are going to see in detail. Implementing effective cybersecurity involves a lot more than just applying the latest technology. Right, you need to enact appropriate supporting policies or processes and ensure that your staff are effectively trained to follow them. These factors taken together are what is related to a security management system. To install confidence and that your security management system is working as intended and providing the protection the business requires, a security audit can be performed. A security audit is a structured approach to assessing the security measures that a company has in place using a set of defined criteria. Typically, the criteria will be a security framework such as ISO, NIST, Cyber Essentials, or a technology specific standard such as EIDAS. During the audit, the auditor will look to identify the policy and or processes that will be defined, then seek evidence that the policy or processes is being followed or each and every security measure is being taken in your organization. So when looking for evidence, the auditor will typically use a sampling approach. Rather than look at every record to assert compliance, they will look at randomly chosen sample. So a company needs to be appropriate in every possible way. A security audit is the high-level description of the many ways organization can test and assess their overall security posture, including cybersecurity. You might employ more than one type of security audit to achieve your desired results and then meet your business objectives. In this video, we will go over the benefits of the audits, the cost, and of course how we can help you to assess your security audit and fill any gaps. If you have any problems, you can always ask on our portal or we'll provide a list of blogs which I was going to talk about. Actually, I had published this article in my blog, but since this is a video lecture, you will have the forums, the question answer forums, and you can ask there. So why audits are important basically? So if you keep a track of cybersecurity news even a little bit, you should have an intuitive understanding of why audits are important. Regular audits can catch new vulnerabilities and unintended consequences of changes, and on top of that, they are required by law for some industries, most notably medical and financial. So what are the specific benefits of conducting an audit? So you can verify that your current security strategy is adequate or not. Check that your security training efforts are moving the needle from one audit to the next. Then it can reduce cost by shutting down or repurposing extraneous hardware and software that uncover during the audit. Security audits uncover vulnerabilities introduced into your organization by new technology or processes, and whether to prove the organization is compliant with regulations such as HIPAA, SHIELD, CCPA, GDPR, etc. We'll be seeing these laws. So before creating procedures and controls around IT security, organizations need to determine their risk exposure. ISACA notes that there are 5 main reasons to establish an enterprise security risk assessment. A risk assessment can help to justify the financial expenditures needed to guard an organization. Information security comes at a cost. Tight budgets means that additional expenditures can be challenging to get approved. An IT security risk assessment articulates critical risks and quantifies threats to information assets. By educating internal stakeholders so that they can see not only the exposure but also the value of mitigating critical risks. Moreover, assessments can help break down barriers. Starting with a security risk assessment puts corporate management and IT staff on the same page. Now, management needs to make decisions that mitigate risk while IT staff implements them. So it is the auditors or the managers or the higher level authorities' job or decision to conduct an audit. and the lower department or IT staff have actually implemented them. Enterprise security risk assessments also establish the basis for self-review. While IT staff knows the technical system, network and application information, implementation depends on the staff in other business units. Risk assessments provide accessible reports focused on actionable information so that all involved can take the appropriate level of responsibility. To foster the culture of compliance, security cannot operate in isolation, right? So finally, security risk assessment help sharing information across departments with individualized vendors and systems. Different departments within an organization may not know what others are doing. So since upper management within larger companies must share responsibility, assessments provide the insights that are necessary for meaningful discussions in supporting an IT security. So now we have seen why audits are important. We'll move further with what is the basic assessment criteria. So what things you need to consider while conducting an audit: to see whether industry and geographical standards are being followed, or to maintain a threat catalog of all discovered risk vectors. Then are the stakeholders involved and able to participate in the audit, and utilize resources when possible. Most importantly, the organization's priorities must not influence the outcomes of the audit. So, irrespective of any priority that the financial institute or healthcare institutes had set, audits must follow. So, you don't simply ignore bad stuff because it makes your hard job, but such bad stuff can put you into trouble later on. So, there are five steps for an audit. We'll see in the next videos, but I'll just give the overview. So you have to prepare for the security audit. During this step, you have to select the tools and methodologies required to meet the business objectives. You have to find or create an appropriate questionnaire to survey or to gather the correct data. Then you have to actually conduct the security audit. So during the audit, we have to take care to provide appropriate documentation and to perform due diligence to the process. Then we have to monitor the progress of the audit and also the data points collected for accuracy. But it is more important for any auditor to be aware of risks and pitfalls. See, for each coin has two sides, heads and tails. In the same way, each process has two outcomes. Well, it can be a good outcome, it can be a bad outcome as well. So there are a few possible challenges to successful security audit, which are: avoid on the fly assessments, trust the process. Then we have to stand by the facts of your results. People will generally push back and question the validity of your audit, but you have to make sure that you properly answer those questions. Then an auditor has to be aware of a poorly defined scope or requirements in your audit, as they can prove to be unproductive waste of time. So you have to define your scope of the audit very carefully, because this scope is further dependent on what results are going to be. So an audit is supposed to uncover risk to your operation, which is different from a process audit or compliance audit. So we have to stay focused on the risk. So in any audit, there are three basically. It's a triangle. The first is line of defense. Then it's a line of the second line of defense is the information technology risk management functions, and the last is finally an internal audit. So what are the roles and responsibilities? As you can see, it includes risk informed decision making, define accepted risk levels and escalate any risks, then establish risk governance including baselines, provide risks insight, and finally you have to report the risk management effectiveness to the board, which is in the internal audit. So in the next video we will see what is the basic difference between internal audit and external audits, and in another video we will see how an internal audit is carried out. So it will make you it will give you a clear idea of how generally audits are performed in cybersecurity. So stay tuned for our next lecture, where we will see the basic difference between an internal audit and